What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Latin Explaining with Denise. My name is Denise Gonzalez. For those who do not know me, for those who do, welcome, guys, again. And for the people that are watching this on the replay, welcome once again to Latin Explaining with Denise. Now, you guys know that this marks the comeback that I've anticipated plenty times before. And here we are, once again, picking up back season 2 of Latin Explaining, dedicated to highlight our beloved slow tap culture and the holes in it. Now, before we start on today's show, I want to welcome everyone that's watching me live right now. I see that Jose already started the chat. Hi, Jose. It's nice to have you out here. Also, I want to remind people to like this video if you have not done so, and also subscribe and hit that bell for notifications so whenever I go live, you guys don't miss a second. Also, I want to remind you guys that by the end of this show, I'm going to have a big announcement that I want you guys to not miss also. So if you are looking forward to know what I'm talking about, make sure that you watch this video till the end because it's going to be really, really, really good. Now, guys, there's a couple of things that I want to touch on. Today, we're going to go back to basics. And you guys know I like to start with talking about certain issues and news, and then we'll go to our main topic. But before we do our news, unfortunately, today, due to the shortage of time, and I want to expand on certain things, we're not going to have a call in. We're gonna have a backstage for a brief time, but we're not gonna have a call in. This is gonna be just me. Hi. It's gonna be just me. So I will still interact with you guys on the chat. So let me know your thoughts about what I'm talking about, and we'll have the discussion. But so we don't overextend our time mark. It's not going to be a call in today. However, this Wednesday, I'm going to have another stream now that I return officially back to Latin Explaining. We're going to be going live every Sunday and Wednesday at 5 p.m. So unless I change, if there's like a situation, you guys know, I will always let you know either through my Instagram or here on the previous show. So every time it's going to be Sunday and Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. I believe it's 8 p.m. Eastern time at this point because the time change again. No. So that's pretty much it, guys. So regarding what are we going to talk about today? Before I start the show, I want to say two things. First, this is not a show for children. If you're under the age of 21 years old, even though YouTube is supposed to require on a banner that you enter your age, if you are under 21 years old, please log out because this is not a show for children. So make sure that you log out of here. And also, I want to say that if you find any topics regarding economics, college enrollment and automation, all these things are triggering to you, please select one of the 34 million YouTube content creators and watch those. I'm pretty sure also you can watch, the Miss Marvel season finale. Like I said last week, is still going. It was great. You can repeat it if you loved it. Also, you don't have to be here and get triggered. I will hate for you to get offended by what I have to say. Now, without any further ado, let's get started with today's show.
To the next level.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Well, apparently people nowadays are going to be actually tasting the rainbow, but in real life when they go visit heaven. What am I talking about? Skittles. is facing a lawsuit. Apparently, one of their consumers has filed a lawsuit against Mars Incorporated because, and I'm going to read it to you, this just came out July 15, and it says Mars Inc. is being sued by a consumer who claims that Skittles are unfit for human consumption. Consumer Janelle Thames filed the lawsuit in Oakland, California on Thursday, claiming in court documents obtained by NBC News that the candy contains heightened levels of titanium dioxide, TiO2. In a statement today, Mars Inc. spokesperson said, while we do not comment on pending litigation, our use of titanium dioxide complies with FDA regulations. The lawsuit claims that the company has long known of the health problems posed by TiO2. It states that in February 2016, the company committed to phasing out the TiO2 in its product, but has yet failed to do so. The lawsuit notes that the toxin was banned in France in 2019 and that the company announced it will comply with the country's law. Just last May, the European Food Safety Authority determined that TiO2 could not be considered safe for consumption, prompting the European Commission's announcement that it will adopt a ban on the use of TiO2 as a food additive. In the US, the company continues to use TiO2 in the product and has failed to inform consumers of the implications consuming the toxin. Now, I want you guys to pay attention to how they're framing this whole situation, because let me just get you first what this does, and I'll come with my commentary. So basically, it says the document claims consumers are at a heightened risk of a host of health effects for which they were unaware, stemming from genotoxicity. Your genes will become toxic. The ability of a chemical substance to change your DNA. The lawsuit claims that TiO2 is used in paints, coatings, adhesives, plastics, printing inks, and roofing materials, and it has demonstrated an ability to pass through biological membranes, aka placentas, to form babies, circulate through the body, and enter cells, so it can damage your organs as well. Per the lawsuit, Thames will not have purchased the Skittles if he had known it contained TiO2. He claims the ingredients on the candy are difficult to read due to the contrast in color between the font and packaging. Thames seeks unspecified damages for fraud and violations of the California consumer protection laws. So you guys see, I am conflicted when it comes to situations like this with TiO2 is titanium dioxide, Jose. That's what TiO2 is. So basically, the FDA has not regulated, right, the TiO2 use for consumption out here. However, the European Food Safety Authority, which is the equivalent of the FDA in Europe, at least Western Europe, has banned TiO2, the titanium dioxide, because it's harmful not only for human beings but unborn babies, fetuses, and your organs and all your cells. So my thing is, do you guys remember when we were talking about how the FDA is corrupt, how the FDA should not be trusted, when we were referring to C-19 and the Pfizer vaccine and the Moderna vaccine and all this stuff? And people used to tell us that we were just crazy conspiracy theorists and that we were insane because we were not supposed to be saying that about the FDA. Because the FDA is such a great regulator. I mean, we have proof with OxyContin and Purdue Pharma that they're amazing and they care for American lives so much. Oh my God. So now with this whole Skittles thing, the FDA, and one thing that I want to highlight, I'm going to bring back the piece. I don't know, but it says, in a statement to Today, a Mars Inc. spokesperson said, this is a person from Mars, the company that makes the Skittles. While we do not comment on pending litigation, meaning I'm not going to talk about it because I don't want to embarrass myself publicly, right? Our use of titanium dioxide, TiO2, complies with the FD regulations. So basically, they're telling you that the FDA, not like the European Food Administration, the European Food Administration said this cannot be consumed in any amount. Well, apparently, the FDA thinks that a little bit of poison is good. A little bit of this, but you can lace the candy, with this poison, and people will be okay. That's your precious FDA. And for the people that keep thinking that we're crazy, that we're making this up, please explain why the FDA still approves poison to be placed in candy, one of the things that children, for the most part, consume. When you can come up with that explanation, an organization that is capable of not only damaging adults and children, but unborn kids, because it goes through the membranes, it changes your DNA. If you're able to not only damage this generation, but the next, do you really think they care about our safety when it comes to everything else? And I leave that question to be answered by you guys, the spectators. I see that Jose says maybe we should eat fruit instead of candy. No kidding, Jose. But you know what? There's a downside to that. What about the GMO containing fruits? What about those? The fruits and veggies that have GMO, because nowadays there are ways where you can identify a non-organic veggie or fruit from an organic one. But still, what about the people that don't know about that? What are we going to tell them? That they've been thinking all this time, hey, I'm eating healthy, I'm consuming healthy foods, and they're not. They're consuming poison, because again, the company that we pay to have in place to ensure that we are safe in consuming things like drugs and foods, well, they think you can eat a little bit of poison. Jose says, Denise, so what are the options? Well, in my opinion, the options are try to live today, right now. Try not to live forever, because it's going to happen. I mean, and if you can, even though organic foods are more expensive, try to buy more organic foods. That's just my best bet, because at this point, one thing I want for sure is to start growing my own food. That's one of my goals for 2024. That's what I'm going to be doing, growing my own foods, especially the veggies and fruits that I can grow. Because, I mean, you can't trust these people. It has been discovered. I don't know if you guys saw this past week, even though I'm a little bit off topic, that I believe 68% of Americans have plastics in their bodies and spermicides. I mean pesticides, spermicides, pesticides, pesticides from the food that they consume. So Jose says, what are the benefits of organic fruits? Well, Jose, that are real fruit. The non-organic fruits are not real food. So of course, if you consume those, they're not actually fruit. They're just synthetic and hormone replaced fruits. So if you eat non-organic fruit, just know you're eating a little bit of poison. I hope that clarifies what organic fruits are. Oh my God! Look at DJ Besides says probably spermicides too. You know what? At this point, I won't. I won't put it beside. Like literally, I won't put it past them. At this point, we don't know what's in our bodies. There was a time ago when I heard that You know, it's okay to have a little bit of feces in our water and it's still drinkable water. It's okay to have a little bit of feces in our food and it's still considered safe. It's okay to have a little bit of bacteria according to the FDA. There's a lot of things that it's just so good. It's healthy. Jose says, is the same, is it the same with veggies? Yeah, it's the same with veggies, Jose. It's the same with everything, even with eggs. Look, eggs, meat, veggies, everything that's like live foods is, it has been chemically manipulated one way or the other. We know this right now, I think what, for 2 decades now? Because unfortunately, contrary to popular belief, and this is my personal opinion, right? Uh we're overpopulated. And I can go deeper into this. I have my theories. Of course, I'm not going to discuss them now because I'm going to derail them from the topic. But contrary to popular belief, the world is overpopulated. There's 8 billion people. And to be honest, uh, we can't feed everyone because there's not a lot of people farming. There's not a lot of people. And even if we do farm, what people don't tell you is that the emissions that the food and the plants emit, it pollutes the world. Not at the same rate as fracking does or the freaking refineries, but it still pollutes the air. Even cows, I heard this probably like 5 years ago. When cows fart, they are polluting the air. I didn't knew that. I see that DJ Besides says they allow a certain amount of bug parts in cereal and stuff as well. Absolutely. The FDA, look, the FDA is one of the most corrupted, most criminal organizations we have in America, and we pay for it. If you think cops are corrupt, look again. The FDA is taking the cake on this. I'm not even joking. I'm not even joking. That's why when people are like, oh, it's FDA approved. And what does that mean? Crap. A sticker by me, it's more, has more credibility than an FDA approved food or freaking medicine. I swear. That's just how bad the FDA is. Now I said that Jose says there organic milk available. There's, I mean, I don't consume milk per se, only when I do coffee and certain things, but for the most part, me and MK consume almond milk. So, hey, Mr. Bobby Wright, I'm good. I'm good. I'm back. So instead of just drinking, you can drink either coconut milk. My preference is almond milk, but I mean that's just a matter of taste. There's oat milk as well, and or if you want to still consume milk, then get the 1% like I do for the coffee. But I don't like necessarily, and don't believe the lactose free, because I also heard that too. I don't remember where I read that, but the lactose free milk as well, it's just, it has antibiotics so that you can tolerate the lactose. So it's a lot of bullshit that slap on the foods that we're consuming today. But we're so busy and we're working so much that we can produce our own food like people used to do in the past. So unfortunately, we're stuck with grocery stores. Bobby Wright said, almond milk. I don't know what FTW means. I don't know what that means, but almond milk is delicious. I mean, that's just my preference. But anyway, guys, moving from preferences and outrageous things. Oh my God. Moving from all of that. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard in the last few weeks, I think what, 2 weeks now or a week, Ricky Martin. Ricky Martin has been the subject of criticism, of backlash, insults, and headlines this past week and a half, I would say, because apparently he has been issued a restraining order in Puerto Rico for by his nephew. His nephew decided that he testified for his restraining order, of course, that he held a relationship with Ricky Martin that lasted for 7 months. Now, he alleged that Ricky Martin refuses to accept that the relationship ended and that Ricky Martin stalks him and wanders around his house. Of course, I mean, all the respect, but Ricky, I mean, I get it. A lot of people, and I'm going to dissect that here because I love when the press and the major media outlets are dumb. I love when they do this thing because just like they did with Chris Knott, with Bill Cosby, you know, they've done with so many people, and even Johnny Depp, they love to destroy, especially the male of the species, no matter if you're gay or not. If you are a male, you're screwed today because they can come and say, oh, this is done. Now, before we jump to any conclusions, I want to explain to people because I've talked about this before. You guys know that unfortunately, as Latin America, in Puerto Rico, there is a feminicide or femicide crisis going on. Unfortunately, every 7 days, at least one woman is killed by her intimate partner. That's unfortunate. But last year, you guys know that the governor of Puerto Rico issued a state of emergency regarding this topic. I'm going to bring it so you guys can understand. And I know a lot of people are going to say, but like, why are you bringing this up? Trust me, it will make sense. Let's go right into it. Okay, let's do me. Let me work for this irresponsible media outlets. So I found the executive order that the governor redacted. If you want me to send it to you, you can email me or contact me on uh, Instagram. I'll send it to you. It's in Spanish, so of course I know I have people that unfortunately don't speak Spanish, so I don't intend for you guys to understand what we're talking about, but I just wanted you guys to know that this is the executive order. Okay, so basically the executive order is stating that there is going to be a special committee that's going to be created to provide not only women but every uh, member of society with certain accommodations or certain responses for gender violence or any other violence. Jose says, did I hear correctly? He had a relationship with his nephew. Jose, uh, just hear me out. That's what the media is saying. Just hear me out. Jose said, you did discuss this last year. Yeah, absolutely. And one of those measures that has been taken is the issue of restraining orders. I'm going to explain why. There's a video that I did last year. It's called The Sad Case of Andrea Ruiz Costas. That was when I was just barely starting. And the key components of that case, among other cases, last year was that she was denied a restraining order because the judge decided that she didn't have enough evidence in order for her to obtain it, and therefore she was rejected a restraining order, and it resulted in her being sexually assaulted by her former partner and burned alive. So because of that, in the executive order of this state of emergency, now, as you guys can see, the seventh section orders the PARE or the stop committee to review and redact recommendations about the procedures of soliciting and expediting restraining orders. So basically, they have to communicate with the court and judicial system to evaluate alternate routes to fasten that process. Now, what people don't understand and the responsible press doesn't understand is that what the determination among the judicial system and the courts of Puerto Rico and the stop or pare committee was that if you go to court right now, you don't even have to go to court. You can file and ask for a restraining order through an app. But let's say you go to a court today and you say, hey, I can't stand Denise. I'm going to get a restraining order against her. They'll give it to you because your life is going to be more valuable than proving me right or you right. So while they investigate, they'll give you a restraining order, which is what we think happened with Ricky Martin. Now, I'm not saying Ricky Martin is innocent. If he's not, he should pay. But in my opinion, I mean, all the proof points different. Now, let's continue down this sea of BS. And I'm going to leave a little bit the executive order so that people that know Spanish can read it. See, they can just, because this is not a me thing. This is just how it is. Now, there's another aspect of the state of emergency, which is the follow-up. And the follow-up is also designed so that they can press criminal charges against these folks that are harassing and committing this deviant act against anyone that they have had a relationship with. Now, Ricky Martin has not had any charges brought up against him because there's no proof that he committed any act whatsoever to harass, intimidate, or even attack his nephew. So basically, he has a restraining order. This Thursday, he's gonna appear before the court in Puerto Rico. We're gonna see the result. I'm going to discuss it here. I'm gonna do a very short video discussing the outcome, and we're going to see if he's going to be arrested. Because that's another thing that I've seen. I've seen major outlets saying like, oh, he faces up to 50 years. People, let's be responsible. When you're a media outlet, you need to be a responsible one and read. Ricky Martin has no charges pressed against him. And I said it yesterday and I said it today again. I'll pay $1,000 if, as of today, July 17, anyone can produce a picture of Ricky Martin's charges or Ricky Martin arrested. It hasn't happened because there's no charges. So now moving from that, okay, Ricky also issued a statement in which he said basically, the restraining order, the protection order entered against me is based on completely false allegations. So I will respond through the judicial process with the facts and the dignity that characterize me. Because it is an ongoing legal matter, I cannot make detailed statements at this time. I am grateful for the countless messages of solidarity, and I received them with all my heart. Now, I want to remind people that Ricky Martin has an organization that stands up against precisely this type of abuse, not only towards women, members of the LGBT community, but also against children. So I find it very funny that this comes and happens to someone that has stand up for almost over a decade against abuse. Someone that also pushed for the state of emergency against the femicides in Puerto Rico. So let's continue down the trend. Now, when it starts getting a little bit shady is that when they investigate in order to press charges against Ricky Martin, according to Puerto Rican media outlets, being Silvia Hernandez News, Ricky Martin has shown records and proved that he is still in Los Angeles, California at the time that his nephew claims that he was wandering around his house, threatening his safety. Ricky Martin has been 7 months out here because he's doing a project in LA. So unless he's Jesus Christ, I don't see how he can be present in several times, in several places at the same time. I don't know if you feel the same way, but I mean, Ricky has a lot of talent then if he can be in all of these places. I want some of that talent, Ricky. Oh my God. Now I'm going to continue because this is so funny. And oh my God, as if that wasn't enough, right? Unfortunately, there's more to this story. And they start investigating his nephew. And his nephew, according to Ricky Martin's brother that went public, which he shouldn't have, even though he went to try to, clarify the whole situation. But he says that his nephew is demented, that he was removed from his sister's house when he was 16, whatever, whatever, whatever. But when the press and the judicial system started digging into who Ricky Martin's cousin was, we found out crazy things about Ricky's cousin. I mean, nephew. Sorry. And one of the things, I know it's a little small, but I want you guys to just try to read it with me. One of the things that was found with according to the judicial system records is that last year in 2021, Denny Sanchez Martin, which is Ricky Martin's nephew, was actually issued a restraining order against him that's still in effect, because it's gonna be in effect till 2023. Now, there's a lady that alleges that, well, not alleges, she was able to prove in court that unfortunately Mr. Dennis Sanchez Martin started harassing her. They didn't had an intimate relationship or anything like that, right? So basically, she said that he became obsessed with her. And when he started making repeated approaches on her that she told him she did not decide, he decided to show up at her workplace. I'm going to put it over here. I know it's in Spanish again, but you guys can read it. Show up at her workplace and also threaten with destroying her. So for that, she thinks her safety is threatened. Now, again, this is not something that I'm making up. These are court documents. You guys have the case here, the case number. You can look it up yourself. So basically, this is a certiorari. For people that don't know what that is, it's basically the method where you can request the an appeal on whatever court's ruling is if you're not in accordance with it. But then they basically said, no, Ricky Martin's nephew requested the restraining order to be lifted. Hey, Rakim, what's up? But the appeals board said, no, there is enough to have those things in place. He also has a pending criminal case against him for doing this to this girl. And they told him, you gotta stay away from her. And he still has to abide by this restraining order against him. Now, I don't know if you guys can catch my drift, but it sounds to me like he's trying to do to Ricky what was done to him. Rightfully so, though, because come on, why would you become obsessed with a lady that has told you she doesn't want to talk to you, she doesn't want anything to do with you, but then you want to follow her everywhere you go? Your family members are saying to you that you are disturbed. Your mom had to give you up when you were 16 because she couldn't handle you. So the history of this nephew keeps getting worse and worse. Like the more you dig into it. And like I said, I'm not making this up. People can look up all this information themselves. The case number, I display it over here so you can look it up yourself. This keeps getting worse and worse and worse. But what I don't appreciate, and I know that Ricky, people would say, oh, like that's because you're Puerto Rican. No, I mean, Johnny Depp isn't Puerto Rican, Kevin Samuels isn't Puerto Rican, Chris Knott isn't Puerto Rican. And I've talked about how the public has condemned and dragged people, especially men, simply because of being men. If femicide is a disease that is spreading like HIV, damaging men's reputation on purpose with no proof is also the same disease. It's the equivalent of that. And we're seeing it. And like I said, Thursday, we're going to see just how real these charges are. But unfortunately, to the public, Ricky Martin had already committed incest with his nephew. He's a despicable man. He's disgusting, and the world's ending because this man is this gross. That's already what the world is saying. You don't believe me? Look up Ricky Martin on Twitter right now. I see that Jose says that sounds like an obsession. Absolutely. He wants to occupy the position of the victim, or probably this is a shakedown and he wants money. Who knows? Who knows what happens on a disturbed mind? It's like you say, Jose, don't ask me to explain the crazy. There's nothing we can do. This kid is just, I mean, insane. Look, MK says extortion. Yeah, it's starting to sound like that. It's slowly but surely started to basically sound just like that. And speaking about how the world is going crazy by the minute, you know, just as if we didn't do anything, we didn't need anything more to add to this. Ohio, the state of Ohio takes the cake for who's crazier this week because they have just inserted a bill that, if approved, will allow pregnant people, notice how they don't call pregnant women, they pregnant people, to sue men for unintended pregnancies. Now, I'm going to park here real quick because, whew, Lord, this is just too much. You guys know already about the Roe v. Wade situation. You guys know my stance of it. I'm pro-life. Now, unfortunately, and oh my God, in Ohio right now, what's happening is that women want to basically, if they have sex, unprotected sex, that results in a pregnancy with a man that they did not intend to have a baby with, and because they can't have access to an abortion according to their state law, what they want to do is sue the man so that they can get basically punitive damages for making them and forcing them into motherhood. You can't make this stuff up. That's basically what's happening right now in the state of Ohio. This is what the world has come to. And I thought, and I want you guys in the comment section to let me know, in the chat to let me know, I'm sorry. Isn't there already a bill that allow pregnant women to sue men for unintended pregnancies? Last time I checked, correct me if I'm wrong, it was called child support. No? Was it called child support? That's what I thought. I thought that child support was for when you were responsible and you didn't protect your womb and you got pregnant by a random man or a man that was your boyfriend, or I don't know. But then you're not together, but you still want him to, be responsible for his kid. So you sue them and you get child support. Isn't that exactly what child support is? So Jose says, so women will not use protection when they have sex. They want to sue the men. Yeah, they refuse to wear a condom. Well, make the men wear a condom or take birth control. They refuse to use birth control. They refuse to use spermicides. Perhaps they should eat some of the non-organic veggies and probably probably has a spermicide and they won't become pregnant. Or maybe they should eat some Skittles and maybe they won't get pregnant, right? Think about it. Just think about it for a sec. I mean, there's so many solutions. The solutions are endless today. But no, and I'm going to say this from the bottom of my heart. I think, and I feel so bad for men in Ohio right now. If this bill gets passed, which I hope it doesn't, what women are saying out here is child support is not enough. We want a lump sum of what you're supposed to give me in monetary gain throughout 18 years. That's what this sounds like. It's always going to come down to money with modern ladies, if you can call them ladies. It's always going to come down to money because that's what women nowadays are after when they can get their way. Or if I can get my way, then I'm going to squeeze money out of you. That's just how it is. I see that Jose says these women should get therapy, but they won't get it, Jose, because they think in their mind that they are right. In their mind, they are right. Make that make effing sense. It doesn't, but they will find ways to explain to you how it does make sense. It's so weird to me. So bizarre. So bizarre to me. And like I said, I feel so bad. So bad for the men that have to endure this type of stupidity from women today. And let me tell you something. I don't think this will pass in Ohio. I honestly think this is not going to pass because if the abortion pro-choice thing did not pass, this is not going to pass. It's not going to pass. I see that Jose says modern women don't need another way to exploit men. Absolutely, they want a lump sum, and I want to know if this bill was to pass. Will they also be allowed to collect child support? I want to know that. Now, I see that Inter Boricua Ramon, what's up? He says, sounds like modern women logic to me. Yeah, it sounds like we have devolved as women. I think men keep evolving and we are going back to the primate. I don't know. I don't know why, but that's how it feels. And speaking of devolving, congratulations, Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck. Bennifer has just announced that they got married on a Vegas ceremony yesterday. Yes, you heard me right. Jennifer Lopez posted these these pictures about her nuptials or her, wedding to Ben Affleck. After almost 20 years of not being together, Bennifer reunited after Alex Rodriguez allegedly cheated on Jennifer Lopez, and Ben Affleck recovered from his alcoholism and was divorced but co-parenting in a healthy way with Jennifer Garner, his former wife. Now, I want, like I said on my Instagram, I want you guys to know and let me know. Do you think Bennifer will last forever? Do you think this is the last wedding that J-Lo will ever have? Or you think Jennifer Lopez is a modern Elizabeth Taylor? Because, no tea, no shade, right? But how many weddings is enough? I see that Johnny Mills entered the chat. What's up, Johnny? How many weddings is too many weddings? Jennifer Lopez, again, I love some of her songs. I will still listen to some of her music. Jennifer Lopez is gorgeous. Her body is absolutely dazzling. She doesn't age, but Jesus Christ, J Lo, settle down. Just settle down. I see that Ramon says Jennifer is too impulsive with all these weddings. It won't last. Well, according to some people and Robert Lee on my Instagram says that he gives them 3 years. I don't know. Let me know in the chat. How long do you think Bennifer will last this time? They are a couple. I mean, I don't know. Do you think? Okay, I'm gonna do a shotgun wedding competition. Who do you think will last longer? Kravis, which is Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker, or Bennifer, Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez? Who do you think will last more married? Because these odd ass weddings that we're seeing nowadays are so weird. I know Hollywood has always been Hollywood, but lately it has become weirder. I see that Jose says 3 months. Wow. No hope, Jose. I think it'll be longer than that. If we know J Lo, I mean, she stays married a little bit longer. I think it goes what? How long was she married? Because I know she married Ohani Noah for like what, a year or two. Then Chris Judd for around the same time, and then her longest marriage has been Mark Anthony, which is 7 years. No, I see that Danny says, so it's a win to marry an ex who has 2 children with another dude after the fact and can't give you kids because her eggs are now powdered. Oh my God. You said it, not me. I mean, come on. But you know what? I'll tell you this. Lo is not getting a price either because let's just keep it real. You know, Ben Affleck looks like crap. He used to be an attractive man. But now, I mean, I don't know if it's the alcohol or the freaking cocaine. I mean, Lo is still getting an addict. You know, he might have went to rehab and this time worked, but she's still getting an addict. That's what's going up. So I think they're a match, Danny. They're I think they're even. What do you think? Now I see that Ramon says it's a Vegas wedding, a year and a half at most. Ramon. Oh my God. Hi, K-Fit. K-Fit, how long do you think Bennifer will last after they married yesterday? Let me know, like, what you guys think. I see that Danny says, but Ben still gets Ben Affleck money. That is true. That is absolutely true. He still can pull Ben Affleck money. And one thing I would say, Ben Affleck might be a alcoholic and addict, but let me tell you something. Ben Affleck can freaking produce great content as an actor and as a producer. So, I mean, J-Lo can't do that. I am sorry. I mean, I know I'm supposed to side with the Rican chick, but you got to call it how it is. J-Lo is famous because of her butt. Because she cannot act. I don't care what anybody says. She cannot act for, even if it saves her life. And she definitely can sing. Okay? Let's just keep it real out here. Now I see that K-Fit says less than a year. Man, you guys are so pessimistic. I mean, at least Ramon was more optimistic. He said a year and a half. Come on, guys. You think? Look how cute they look. J-Lo was so excited. She said that she felt like a princess, and look at her. She looks so pretty, and she's so happy. Not to be messed up, but she kind of looked a little psycho on that one. I don't know if you think the same thing. She kind of does. Oh my God. But guys, I see that Danny says, for all that he should have went to the Lower East Side, Washington Heights, or the Bronx and get a 27-year-old version of Jay. You know what? That is so true. That is definitely so true. Because he still has the money, he still has the status. Jayla's just, I'm sorry, but she looks great for her age. It's kind of like Sofia Vergara. They are, for us ladies, of course, they are goals for when we age. But I mean, I'm 34 and I already need Botox. Let's just keep it real. We have lines, and collagen production stops at 25, and after that it's all downhill. Your tatas are going to sag. It's just human nature. I mean, come on. I see that Introvert Boricua says she's going to get bored again. Yeah, no one. I think Jennifer Lopez is trying to compete with or become the Elizabeth Taylor, the Latina Elizabeth Taylor. Jose is even now. Jose even toned it down. He said 3 months or less. Jesus. K-Fit says she toned that's it. Her ass gun. She got no shape no more. She looks two-toned. But you know what? I think that looks nice for a 50-something-year-old woman. But I agree with Donnie. If you're 27, I mean, and we've said it because, yeah, you see, for her age, yeah, K-Fit, for her age, like you said it, for her age. Johnny Mill says, I'll give it about 3 months. You're like Jose too? Look, I'm going to tell you something. I remember when during the pandemic, a lot of guys were like, oh my God, J-Lo is making the 20 and 30-year-old women sweat. I'm like, look, yeah, I might be a little on the chubby side. I like my brownies and I like my bread, and I probably drink too much soda and whatever. But I'm going to tell you something. There are certain areas in a woman that become very dry and toasted. There's no way in hell. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. But there's no way in hell that a 50, that's not toasted. A 20 and a 30-year-old woman is not toasted. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. I've said it before. Even myself, I'm 34 years old, and I cannot say, oh, I can compete and make the 25-year-old lady sweat. Fuck no. They are younger than me. They have more attributes than me. They're more valuable than me in society today. Come on now. Come on now. I see that Danny says, how can we take a 50-something-year-old woman saying she felt like a princess? Can you say prescription side? I mean, the J-Lo syndrome should be in the DSM for mental illness. I believe that. As K-Fit says, Ben got mad kids. She's not going to deal with all that. No, of course. She barely deals with her kids. I see that Ramon says she needs to do another residency or something. I think so. And then Danny says she does outdo young women as far as taking meticulous care of herself, her health, but 50 is 50. Absolutely. Again, Jennifer Lopez on the body and the workout and the abs, we are nowhere near that. At 50, I'm pretty sure I'm going to look like Flubber. And she looks awesome for a 50-something-year-old woman. Let's just keep it real. That's just the reality. That's why J-Lo is still relevant, because she's still gorgeous. But man, come on, just make it work with someone. Make it work with someone. I think, in my opinion, she should have stayed with A-Rod. That's just my opinion. She should have stayed with A-Rod. I see that Ramon says it's called having a personal trainer. You know what, Ramon? It's called, loving yourself and also staying healthy. That's just how it is. Like a balanced life. I'm very unbalanced. A lot of women are like, we love our sweets and our chocolates and our, come on. We're all like that. And a lot of us just don't want to. I mean, in my case, I've considered wrestling. I don't know if K-Fit feels the same way or the ladies watching, but I've considered wrestling for my lines. But I'm still on the fence on that. And then MK says I don't need it because I look gorgeous. So that props me up. It props me up. And I'm like, probably I can wait a little bit more. I see that Johnny Mills says, I agree she should have stayed with Alex Rodriguez. Yeah, I think that was her best bet. She should have definitely stayed with him. Uh, they made a great couple, and I think they had a better understanding of one another. So J-Lo and Ben, we wish you the best, but Ben Affleck, man, I hope you have prenups. That's all I'm gonna say. That's prenup, bro. Prenup. That's all I'm gonna say. But guys, I have talked so much about news, and I want to thank you guys for sticking it out. Now let's just move to what we have all come here to talk about, what we all have come here to hear about, and what I really came here to tell y'all, the main topic. Oh my, oh my, oh my. I told y'all today was going to be an excellent topic. Today is going to be a topic that either if you are one of the sensitive, how can I say it without being so direct? If you're one of the snowflakes, please log out. But if you're not a snowflake, let me tell you something. Today's topic is going to be just about enough of what you need to stop being a couch potato and do something that's going to change your life forever, especially if you are of the Hispanic slash Latino or whatever you want to call yourself sector. And even if you're not, it's the same thing. Of course, you guys know I specifically talk to my collective in particular, but I'm speaking to everyone that watches me because we're at the same time, almost in the same boat. Now, the walking homeless. Many of you guys have watched at least a postcards postcard, billboard about The Walking Dead. And I don't know if anyone told you, for the ones that don't know, because the majority of The Walking Dead fans know that The Walking Dead are not the zombies. The Walking Dead are the people that are not zombies, that are the survivors of this stuff, that are literally just people that eventually are going to die because zombies outnumber the people that are actually zombies. Non-zombies. I'm sorry. So today we're going to talk about the walking homeless, which is our Latin collective, or even if you're in any minority that's disadvantaged in this country, you might not be a homeless person today, but you're walking homeless. And what do I mean by that? It's very simple. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard that by 2053, our wealth will drop to zero for many things, but mainly because automation will take away more than 73% of Americans' jobs. Now, we know for a fact that 80% of Americans are working, the working class, and they live paycheck to paycheck. 80% of Americans cannot afford a $400 emergency today. 91% of Americans cannot afford real estate today. I'm sorry. And the majority of this working class doesn't have proper access to healthcare, medicine, retirement funds. Their 401ks are worth nothing. And the problem continues. Now, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but there is a way out of that. But before we talk about ways out of that, you guys know that I like to bring Oh, look at Jose. He's like, by 2053, I will be dead. Well, not according to your standards, because you say you're middle age. And if you're 60, you're supposed to last 120 years. So you'll be okay. You'll still be here. So, so I'm going to base my opinion and my take on this on basically how Latinos or Hispanics have done throughout previous crises and what are we doing in the face of this new crisis that's looming. Now, we know that in America, there has been many crises that have shaken the economy and the basically the core economy of people. One of them being the 2005 to 2009 crisis. And I wanted to share with you guys some information because I know a lot of people tend to get sensitive because they think I'm a Latino hater, but this is not a me thing. Unfortunately, the way we tend to do during crises like this is that, for example, according to the Pew Research Center, not Denise, they said that according to their reports and the Research Center of Social and Democratic Trends that is based on the census, the Hispanic household wealth fell by 66% from 2005 to 2009. And that is the toll of the Great Recession of 2005 to 2009, previous to the Obama era and just at the beginning of Obama's presidency. Now, if you guys can see this table, I'm going to try to expand it a little bit so you guys can see. Another thing I'm going to say, I'm not going to keep comparing us to Black folks or African Americans because, like I established on my previous podcast, we're not supposed to be comparing ourselves to people that we resemble. We're supposed to compare ourselves with the real competition, which is white Americans or Asians. And according to our statistics, our percentage and the change in median net worth of households from 2005 and 2009 dropped on a 66% compared to whites that were only 16%. They only dropped 16%. So when you compare these numbers, unfortunately, the numbers are very grim. And it says median household wealth among Hispanics fell from 18,359 in 2005 to $6,325 in 2009. The percentage drop 66% was the largest among all racial ethnic groups, according to a new report by the Pew Research Center's Social and Demographic Trends Project. During the same period, median households' wealth declined 53% among Black households and 16% among white households. So basically, what they're talking about is how this came to happen. And I'm going to read a little bit so you guys can have the full info. And it says the Pew Research Reports provides a first look how the Great Recession impacted household wealth. It finds that plummeting house values were the principal cause of the erosion in wealth among all groups. However, because Hispanics derived nearly two-thirds of their net worth in 2005 from the home equity, and disproportionate share reside in the states that were in the vanguard of the housing meltdown, Hispanics were hit the hardest by the housing market downturn. So basically, what this is saying is that a lot of the predatory ninja, I don't know if you guys are very familiar with the ninja loans during the housing crisis of 2005, but it was the no income, no job approval. So you didn't have to bring proof of anything, and you will get approved for a mortgage. So when the crisis happened and the prices for the property started dropping because of the interest rates fluctuation, uh, your home decreased so much in value that you were overpaying for your household. So, unfortunately, it was cheaper for people to walk away from their properties rather than just to keep working because they were going to get into more debt because they were also working less. Let's not forget that, unfortunately, unemployment rates were up the roof during that time. So unfortunately, Latinos didn't work as much at that time, so their wealth decreased. I'm sorry. And on top of that, you have the housing crisis, like a tandem effect that did a massive crunch in Latinos' wealth. So, to be honest with you, a lot of people suffer from, I'm sorry, suffer from this horrendous crisis. Now, I know a lot of people would say, well, basically, Denise, that was more than a decade ago. We're not in that position right now. We are booming. We're the fastest growing minority, whatever, whatever, whatever. Well, let's bring this whole thing to our most recent. And like I said, I'm going to talk about the crises first to see how we tend to do during the recessions. I'm not trying to go as back as the Great Depression, but during the Great Depression, I talk on the Jim Crow podcast that during the Great Depression, Latinos in droves returned to Latin America. A lot of us returned to Latin America. So basically, we don't tend to do good during crises. But now let's move back to here in America. So in 2020, during in the middle of the pandemic, when we were supposed to be better position, we have 15, well, not 15, but 11 years to recover. We were working, we were supposed to be saving. The Washington Post did a paper, an article that says this is how economic pain is distributed in America. Job losses due to the coronavirus shutdown have fallen unequally on Americans according to age, gender, educational attainment, and race. Now, unfortunately, here we are again. I don't know why. Oh my God. I don't know why, but we keep being here in every crisis. During the coronavirus crisis, the Latino unemployment rate soared over everyone else in the United States. I'm going to open this, like zoom it a little bit so you guys can see it even more. But the unemployment rate, I'm sorry, soared a lot amongst Latinos because unfortunately most of our people are in the service industry, and let's not forget that the first one of the first things that closed down due to the quote unquote heightened transmission were places like restaurants, indoor dining, hotels, shopping malls, etc., etc. Most modern Latinos work at these locations in the service industry. And unfortunately, our unemployment rate was one of the highest. Now, some people that also were affected that are not factored in this are the people that are undocumented working on crazy conditions that had no access to the stimulus checks or any unemployment, so they were forced to work on unhealthy environments, like we saw the farmers here in California working under an orange sky during that hot, crazy summer, among many other things. And a lot of people started firing illegal immigrants out here, or not properly documented immigrants, because they could. So we tend, like I said before, we tend to not do too good during crisis. And I don't know how to tell people this, but there's two aspects of the crisis that's glooming that we need to actually pay attention to, because I don't know how to say this without some people getting offended, but the way our culture works, it's never to prevent, is mostly to just continue to like cover up or just for the most part rescue things after the fact. It's never about, let's just make this work, let's prevent this from happening. It's never like that. And that is so crazy to me because we could do so much better. But one of the things that are required for us, hey, Daniel Valencia, one of the things that are for the most required for us to do is that we know that because many jobs are going to be automated, I'm going to share with you guys certain information about that. Even though I've spoken about this lengthily, I'm going to just go over it real quick. But I'm going to explain to you guys what's coming our way as the new form of economical recession. There are over 200, and this is a document for the people that don't know, that's coming from CPA, the career expert here in the United States. They do global and local evaluations of the financial market. And it says 25% of US jobs are experiencing high levels of disruption due to automation today. Now, this is the breakdown right now of where America stands. 24.83%, which if we round it up is 25% of jobs today are at risk, which is 36 million US jobs have potential of automation. Now, right now, 35% are at medium potential, I'm sorry, which means that even though it's going to happen, it might take some other years, which is 57 million jobs that fit into the low risk category today. However, low potential, which is something that's going to be very difficult to have replaced, and they say it's going to be in 120 years, they project that it's going to be automated. It's only 39.31%. So basically, it says one of the things that can put you and protect you and lower your rate of becoming an unemployed American is having a college degree can protect you from job loss at least 21%. It says estimates show that at least 50% of the work done by those without bachelor's degrees could be automated with existing technologies. On the other hand, having a college degree reduces the number by 29%. So it says since the 1990s, the cost of employee labor has risen by over 200%. Meanwhile, the cost of robots have dropped over 50%. That means that we have become more expensive to corporations. Meanwhile, compared to humans, and because of the massive production, I'm sorry, because of the massive production, robots have become cheaper, which is what we're seeing right now in Amazon. Jeff Bezos replacing a lot of the job that was used to done by humans by robots, to the point that the workers want to unionize because they can't keep up with the machine's demands. Only machines can work at that pace. I see that Daniel Valencia says trades, business is booming here in Houston area. Subdivision and commercial development is vacuumed. I don't know what that means, but when you say trades, expand on which trades are we talking about? Because we're talking about jobs that are not basically manual labor, manufacturing, the service department, etc., etc. And for the people that want to tell me that painting and fucking construction, it's not, and I'm sorry if I'm cursing, but it's just, I've heard it all. It's not going to be replaced. I'm going to remind you that if they're printing organs by 2030, the printing homes that exist today, that is being tested in Mexico, there's already communities that are built by a printer that constructed that in 12 days. A whole villa was built in 12 days by a printer. Your job that is unskilled labor is capped. and it's about to disappear in a few years. So if you're under 40 years old, I suggest you to start panicking right now about your future and how you're going to make a living. Because if you're in your 30s, you still have 35 years to go, honey. If you're on skilled labor, because you need to work till 65, and in some places till 67 to collect Social Security and some retirement. So again, I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news, but that's just how things are. And one of the things that I want to focus on is when people talk about the Latin community, unfortunately, and it's something that I love. I wish Art was here because he talked about how our okay, Daniel Valencia says heating and air conditioning, electrical, fiber optical businesses can handle the work demand. Yeah, I understand that, Daniel Valencia. Today, they can handle that. But I'm telling you that in less than 10 years, it's going to be a robot doing that for you. And you, as a human, are not going to be able to keep up, and robots are going to be cheaper than humans. They already are. I don't know why we're resisting this reality. It's just the way it is. And it's better for us to prepare because, as I explained at the beginning of this stream, we don't tend to do good in recessions because we are yet to understand the American capitalism or financial system. Why can't we just make this a different result? And that is what pains me to see, that we're talking about these things and we just want to resist reality is coming. Everything that we do, and this is not something that I make up, everything that we do, everything, even me talking to you right now and you watching me through your device or in your home through your TV, everything that we do funds AI advancement. Your iPhone or your Android is funding AI advancement. I get it. It hurts, but it's the truth. And it's better if we accept it fast so that we can hit the ground running rather than just get a fractured leg. Yeah? How about that? Now, like the article said, one of the things that will help people not be harmed by automation is obtaining at least a bachelor's degree. Now, one thing I would say is that unfortunately, in our community, and that is something that, like I said, I wish Art was here because he would explain it. He has experience in that matter. He's an educator as well. Unfortunately, in the Latin community, education is not encouraged. As a matter of fact, not going to college is encouraged. So I'm going to show the degree attainment rates for Latinos according to the Education Trust. These people take this data from the Department of Education and they basically uh, allocate the percentages of people attaining degrees based on the data they get from the Department of Education. By 2018, okay, 4 years ago. And again, I'm trying to not compare our community to people that have a similar status, but for the African Americans that are watching me, uh, you're slightly over. It will show on one of the future figures, but in this one, it's only with white people. So when we compare the educational attainment among Hispanic versus white, Latina women, uh, 3 of every 10 Latina women have less than high school. 3 out of every 10. 3 out of every 10, that's 6, has a high school diploma or a GED, which is the equivalent. Now, out of the remaining four, two have some college with no degree, and two have a college degree. That's just how it is. Okay? So basically, two women. Now, out of the Latino men, I will get in a minute, but when you compare that with white women, literally less than 1 in every 10 have less than high school. Less than 1 in every 10 is illiterate. As a matter of fact, it's 1 in 20 white women have less than high school compared to 1 to 3 in every 10. Now, the high school diploma, the ones that stay at high school, is almost close to us, but it's also less. 2 out of every 10 stay at high school compared to us, 3 out of every 10. Now, two out of every 10, just as us, 2 out of every 10 go to college with no degree, but a whooping 5 out of every 10 compare 2 out of every 10 Latinas obtain a degree in college. So basically, half of the white women have a degree, a college degree, compared to only two Latinas. Now let's go to the men. The numbers are pretty similar, but just as scary. 3 out of every Latino men have less than high school. 3 out of every 10 have a high school or GED. 2 out of every 10 have some college with no degree, and 2 out of every 10 have a college degree. Now, compared to white men, again, 1 in every 20 has less than high school. 3 out of every 10 have high school or high school equivalent. 2 out of every 10 have some college with no degree. And 4 out of every 10, compared to two, so twice as likely, have college degree compared to Latino men. And that was 2018. And this is our reality. This is literally our reality. And this is what I keep explaining to people. I see that Daniel Valencia says, some things robotics will never replace the human. Heck, the US can even invent a strawberry picker, manufacture goods. Yes, can be robotically ran, but some things will remain. Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that. We've seen enough. He says, I'm basically talking about the business owner part, not the manual labor. Well, you can own a business. The problem is how many Latinos own a successful enough business in order to afford the transition to robotics. Again, we want to fight this concept, but unfortunately, we don't have the data and the money, especially if we go with the trend on how we used to do during recessions. And he says higher education is wonderful, but there's always a but with us Latinos. It's never like, hey, we need to take our asses to college. Let's, and I'm gonna park here for a little bit. He says it's wonderful, but what are people getters I don't understand that. They greed in today. I ran into people that have a master's in some art courses. We'll get to that, Daniel Valencia, because numbers don't lie, sweetheart. I lie, you can lie, but numbers don't. And numbers are telling you that you're 29% less likely to lose your job to a robot if you have a bachelor's degree. I didn't make the numbers. Again, I get that you're mad, but it ain't my fault. And now one thing I would say, that why am I gonna park here, is because When you look at the numbers for guys, just know that, just like Jose is saying, that he says, I am the first member of my family to graduate with a bachelor degree. And I'm so proud of that. And the reason why I'm going to park here is because this is where, despite all the negative aspects of our collective, this is where the sacrifice of the Latino men is seen. Uh, the fact that we don't invest in Latino men education is infuriating to a degree. The fact that you can see the drastic percentage of how many Latino men are able to go to college and graduate versus the women, or even finish high school, the level of illiteracy among men that are fully capable of getting and doing great things is infuriating. And if you have kids, either if you're a single mom or you're a married couple, I want to encourage you as a millennial, you got to invest in college for your boys first. And I'm not saying this because I'm misogynistic. I believe women, if they want to, should also pursue an education. But if you don't have, as a parent, the money to put them both through college, prioritize the boy. Because if our men in our collective achieve a higher education, they will be able to hold our community together much better than the ladies will in many aspects. And again, it's always, let's just send the boys out there to work under the sun, to paint all the houses in the block and do all the heavy lifting, but never cultivate the men. Latino men have the same potential as any other. There's no way in hell that they should be treated like they're just cattle and they don't need to go to college. It's time for us to shift towards the Latino businessman. And I'm talking about the one that's properly educated in college. To transition to the Latino men professional, Latino men doctor, Latino men specialist, Latino men engineer. We need more of those. Those are the leaders of the community. These are the people that, if decided, can change the world. Because eventually, it's cool that as a woman you go to college, but what's going to happen when you give birth and you have to raise kids? Your education basically is lost because you can't work the same hours, you can't do the same things. When you get married, you're going to be more tired. So again, men have the capacity to work more, influence more, and achieve more. I see that Jose says, I was told that I would never achieve anything. I'm a college grad. Congratulations, Jose. Congratulations. Because, like I said, every time you see a Latino man with a degree, that is a success story because 8 Latino men out of every 10 don't have one. And that sucks. It really does. It really does. And again, exactly, Daniel Valencia. We need more engineers, more doctors, more lawyers, more judges. That's what we need. More Latinos in robotics. That's what we need. So again, to whoever is raising boys, and not only in the Latino community, that applies also for any other minority, like Black Americans and even white Americans. If you're watching me, invest in the education of your boys. Your community will do better for it. And again, this is not as a misogynistic thing, but you should, these numbers don't speak nicely about us. They just don't. And I left them up for a reason. They don't look nice. They just don't. Now, more people would say, well, Denise, that was 2018 and it's not like that now. Well, I have more proof because you guys know I like to talk with uh you know proof. Latinos, I don't know if you guys can see it, right? But it says Latinos see jump in college degrees, but gap widens, census shows. Now, there was a time when Latinos, and this is 2021 for the people that are wondering, this is 2018. This was just last year after all the data from the census was collected. They said the share of U.S. Latinos 25 and older with at least a bachelor's degree grew 30% over 15 years. But the jump wasn't enough to close the gap with white, Asian, and Black degree holders. Now I'm going to show you guys what they're talking about. I have that survey out here. Let me see if, there you go. I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me stop this one. And share the actual chart so you guys can see we had a growth of 30%, but unfortunately other communities also grow. So here we go. According to the census of 2020, right? The Latino community from 2005 and 2009, just when we were in the hole, our finances dropped 66% in wealth. Only 12%, 12.6%, the lowest right after other, which we know marks other as a race, were in college. Now, white alone, 29%, Black alone, 17%. Asian a lot, 49%. That was from 2005 to 2009. Now from 2015 to 2019, Latinos jumped 30%, like it says here, to a 16.4% of Latinos. That means that out of every 100 Latinos, only 16 have a degree. Only 16, nothing more, out of every 100 people you meet. Now, out of white people, 33%. That means a third. For every 3 white folks you meet, 1 has a degree. And of Black folks, every 4 Black people you meet, 1 has a degree, basically. Now, Asian people, out of every 2 Asians that you meet, 1 has a degree. And it has been consistently like that. Look at their charts. And that's why I keep saying what I keep saying. Just to think that 20 years ago, their finances were in the toilet. But again, let's continue and focus on ourselves. 16.4% of Latinos hold a degree, a bachelor's or more. That means that only 16 people out of 100 Latinos will most likely survive automation in the next 10 to 15 years. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that insane to y'all? Because this crazy to me. But let's just, it even deepens. Because as you guys saw on the first one, it is only a matter of time that even the ones with a bachelor are at a medium risk of losing their job to automation. And that's when this comes into play. The people that are in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. How many people of those 16 in Latin America or of Latin descent, right? How many of those people actually obtain a degree in STEM? And I found something very funny from the best colleges data talking about how Latinos are doing when it comes to STEM, because a lot of people obtain a degree, but not necessarily in something that's not going to get automated eventually, one way or the other, especially now. It says Hispanics are key to closing the gap in the STEM workforce. And this comes from the best colleges. It says, and I'm going to go down so you guys can get to the nitty gritty. It says, why are Hispanics and Latinos and Latinas underrepresented in STEM occupations? And I'm going to stop here so I can read this and you guys can follow what I'm saying. Historically, Hispanics and Latino students have been underserved in STEM fields due to divergences in the education system. According to the Pew Research Center, in 2021, Hispanics earned 15% of all bachelor's degree in the US, but only 12% of STEM degrees. Okay, that means that out of every 100 bachelor's degree, 15 of those were Latino people with bachelor's degree. And out of those 15, if we put that number to the side, out of every people that graduated, out of 100, every 100 people that graduated from STEM related professions, 12 of those were Latinos. So the number keeps crunching down. Okay? So now from the 16 that graduated and have their bachelor, now only 12% are in STEM. Not out of the 15%, 12% overall with Asians, whites, black, etc., etc. Only 12%. So only 12% of our people that graduates from that 16%, only 12% will make it. So the number keeps being lower and lower and lower. And it says at the master's level, they earn 11% of degrees overall, but 9% on the STEM's degrees. That means that out of every 100 people that are either on science, technology, engineering, mathematics, 9 are Latino, 91 are non-Latino. And I don't know if you guys are, I don't know if you guys are scared, but this scares me. And this part right here is what I'm going to concentrate on because this is one of the most interesting things. It says the numbers for Hispanic women in STEM look even worse. So that means that women in the Latin sector that are going to college more than the boys that are actually encouraged and supported through college. Okay. So these Latinas are getting basically useless degrees because it says the SRF report found that Hispanic women represented 7% of the total workforce. But in the STEM realm, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, out of every 100 workers, there's only 2 Latinas. Despite earning higher average grades than men, Hispanic men, of course, because the men in our community are not encouraged to focus on studying, Hispanic women experience the lowest levels of STEM confidence. I've said it many times, we're easily intimidated. And their interests and aspirations in STEM were lower than those of Hispanic men. Now, this is again another confirmation that what I'm saying is true. This is basically the importance of, as a parent, understanding if you only have enough money to send one of your kids to college, send the boys. Send the boys. That's literally what it is, not the girl. I see that Daniel Valencia said we should have more of a culture that promotes higher education, not just be a service worker. Shift the strong work ethic to more of an education ethic. Absolutely. You are absolutely right. Because imagine if we can combine the work ethic that many Latinos have, or any person in any minority, with the STEM knowledge that's needed. Imagine how beautifully we will survive this new recession that's looming and coming our way. which is why it's important to focus on supporting, and it's essential at this point. It's not debatable. You should work your ass off as a parent to put your boys through college. I don't care about your excuses. I don't care that you're broke. I don't care about nothing. If your boy needs a freaking laptop to become an engineer, you do whatever and you get it. That's how we support the betterment and the survival of the collective. Put your boys through college no matter what. I see that MK says, I think a multitude of things. Oh, he was talking to MK. He says to Jose, he says, when your kid gets older, you should start delving into what they want to do as showing them things that they could take interest in besides the usual. Absolutely. Absolutely. Stop, like MK said, setting your kids up for failure, especially your boys. Why you want to expose your precious Latin baby boy with dreams and hopes and the strength to do things to just be a fucking gardener when he can be a great Latino that does a lot of great things? Why we always have to eat the freaking what's the name of it? Why we have to eat cheap ass tacos when we can have golden tacos of the best of the best? Why we have to live in ghettos when our communities can live in beautiful suburbs if we just prioritize the boys? And that doesn't only apply again to the Latin sector. I'm talking about my people. I'm sorry, in particular, because it's my collective, but it's the same for everyone. Oh, you will have to just, settle and go, I don't know, what, clean some carpets and become a carpet cleaner. I'm so tired of that. I am tired of seeing that. I don't know if you're tired of seeing that we as Latinos waste our freaking potential. Uh, Put a number one in the chat. I'm so tired of that. I'm so tired. Can't take it no more. Cannot take it no more. But definitely, it's something to look into. Now, many people will say, Jose feels the same way. Many people will say, Denise, what is the point of you talking about this today? Well, I've talked about automation a lot. And one thing that people seem to skip is that the American folk, whether it doesn't matter how we want to slice it, it's more economically literate than us. I mean, I already showed you the statistics. We don't tend to do good in any recession. And I hope this is the exception, which, I mean, I don't have a lot of hope, but I can only hope, right? Uh, but what people seem to be skipping is that when I talk about homeless, a lot of people get shocked in the Latin sector because we will never be comfortable with having our family members on the street. That's just how we are. We prioritize family. But what I'm talking about is like, that every Latino here takes some time off and says, I'm going back home to visit my relatives. And throughout our crises here in the US and this empire that we live in, we tend to always have a safety net to come back to that's called home, and that is Latin America. I say that Daniel Valencia says, well, I think better we can buy the ghetto and remodel it to be outstanding like others do in college gentrification. Buy this place for slumlords and upgrade them to high standard. You know what's crazy, Daniel? It's crazy that you said that because I made a video about cleaning the barrio. I don't know if you have time, watch it. That's exactly what I was talking about, and people call me crazy for that. But anyway, going back to what I was saying, we have, so that's a great point that you made right there. I agree with you 1,000%. Um, this place that we call home, I know you want to think that if it all fails, if it comes to zero, then I'll go back home because we tend to go where money goes. That's just the Latino way. We go where we get paid. Um, but let me tell you something. The reason why I'm doing this video is because you and me and every other Latino that's not prepping for this and does not own anything back home is a walking homeless. And meanwhile, you're out here in the rat race with your blinders on, following the cow before you. There is something brewing in our countries that's alarming, but it's subtle, just subtle enough for not making waves. And you might ask yourself, what is that? Well, very simple. Meanwhile, we have millions of people coming here from Latin America. I've spoken about Puerto Rican gentrification. You guys know that thanks to our government that's giving them incentives, Puerto Rico is becoming owned by gringos by the day. You guys know that the Dominican Republic, even though the Dominicans and the Solteps love to say that, oh, we're remodeling the DR, it's looking better. We know that 50% of the part of the DR that looks cute, it's owned by Puerto Ricans and 50% is owned by Americans. That's just how it is. Americans are living us in their slums. Americans messed up this land, desecrated it, polluted it, dirtied it up. Now they're abandoning this land to go to our beautiful beaches, our rainforests, our mountains for cheap. And in case you don't believe me, like I said, look at the DR, look at Puerto Rico, but even more so, look at places like Mexico. If you look at the last 20 years, the American population in Mexico has doubled. One of the most fastest growing numbers. And the number one immigrant in Mexico is the Americano, the gringo. The Yankees are taking over. Slowly but surely. And I don't know if people think that this is bullshit. It's not. So meanwhile, you stay, and it is not exclusive to white gringos, so don't get confused. It's also the black gringo. And I mean, I have a black gringo husband, but still, I mean, I gotta call it how it is. It's also the black gringo. Why? Because they're realizing the American dollar here might not be worth much, but I can live like a rich person in Latin America with their peso, and they're buying our land. I can't blame them though. That's smart as hell. And it's happening to us. And unfortunately, a lot of people will fight me on this and will fight anyone that says this. And Mexico is not the only place. Puerto Rico is not the only place. The DR is not the only place. Okay? And you're having a tandem effect. As a matter of fact, a place that you will never think gringos will go because of all the bad data that's there, from all the bad numbers there is there. Obviously, in Colombia, it doesn't matter how many narcos is done, how many narcos episodes and seasons are. Aside from Venezuela fleeing for obvious reasons, what was never there before 2019, in the last 2 years, from 2017 to 2019, and we don't know how it is today because there's still not numbers enough in Colombia. But the number two most fastest growing immigrant in Colombia is the gringo. Okay? I want you to understand this. This is not just a Puerto Rican, Dominican thing. This is a Latin American thing. This is not just a Mexico thing. Tulum is for the most part owned by gringos. It's beautiful though, but gringos are buying it. Look at MK's like, damn, Colombia. I see that Dario Valencia says, yes, I have a place back home. He was just a place. I work seasonal. I respect this country for the opportunities. One has to go after no one is going to just let you have it. Absolutely. Thank you, Daniel Valencia. For those Latin morons that are always like, oh, I love my country, but I don't want to go there. I don't want to live there. Good luck, boo. That's all we got to say. If you don't own land in your hand, you're a gringo, Johnny Lingo, and good luck. And if you think that it's only Mexico, Colombia, Puerto Rico, and the DR and Panama. No, honey. Ecuador. Ecuador not only has a gringo population that's growing and is the number one immigrant population. Okay? It's just not the number one. Now, if you retire as a gringo, if you retire in Ecuador, you get a package of benefits that the Ecuadorian government gives you for living there, and you can have access to top of the notch VIP healthcare, free medicines. You can live, and the way they market it is that you can live a very comfortable life in these places. I want you to take this homework. I wanted to bring the websites because I have them. Again, if you want them, I'll send them to you through Instagram. But I want you guys to do the freaking homework. This is being marketed all through the internet. Oh, you can live in Ecuador for like both of you and your partner for under $1,200 a month and even have a maid. I'm not even making this up. That's literally how it is. This is what's going on. This is literally what's going on in Latin America. So to the people that love to fight me, at least I'm going to say something. If you're going to fight me, be like Daniel Valencia. Fight me with land. Fight me, but have your piece of land back home. So you can pack up your stuff and leave. Have a plan B. If you're not willing to get a degree out here and do something with your life, get your money right, learn how to thrive in capitalism, learn how to invest. I'm sorry, but good luck. And again, we're going to stay here with the South Centrals, and when we hear this stuff, we're going to hear this for the most part when we stay here. Here's what we're going to be hearing. That's what we're going to be hearing when you keep fighting this concept. You keep fighting this concept, and this is going to be you in 2020. Don't worry, we'll leave some Kleenex behind. That's how it's going to be. I'm sorry, Lopez. So sorry. I know it hurts. I know. I know. There's not going to be the America that you used to know. It's not going to exist, unfortunately. And for the people that love to say, oh, you're wrong, you don't know what you're talking about, okay, good luck. Americans are leaving. Your beloved saviors are leaving you behind with their pollution. Like I said, they exploited this land as much as they can. Now, no one can afford it. And you're going to stay here and they're going to take over your land. Probably do something with it. I see that Daniel Valencia says they are in every country, though. I'm from out of the way region, can say in a matter of time the outside world won't even come near us. We're already near a tourist area. Oh, wow. I didn't knew that, though. I know that from what I've heard, every Mexican in Ciudad de Mexico knows at least two gringo families on average. It's so weird. It's so weird. I swear. It's so crazy. I don't know what's going to happen, but for the most part, it's time for us to wake up, people. It's time for us to do something about it because we're going to be the walking homeless. And that's going to be us here in the American ghettos. No job, no money, nothing. And we don't have a home to go travel. Okay? That's how it's going to be. And at that time, I don't want to hear no crying, no nothing. That's just how it's going to be. That's just how it's going to be. So the urgency, why I keep talking about this, why I keep bringing this up, that's the urgency. And like I said, there is time to turn this for the positive. There is time for you to avoid, seriously avoid. You don't that was here and not have a degree and be a painter and he was gonna be all right. Well, that's Julio. Don't be like Julio. Be a Daniel Valencia in a world of Julios. Be a Daniel Valencia. You guys can hear me okay? If you guys can hear me okay, put a number one in the chat. Because MK said my mic is messing up. So guys, like I said, there's still time to avoid. Yeah, that was probably because Julio was loud. MK, Julio was literally. Thank you, Johnny and MK and Jose. Uh, Julio was making too much noise, so of course he wasn't letting me talk. But you don't want to be Julio, that overstayed his welcome out here, had no plan, had no money, and now is stuck here in this crazy land. You want to be able to, especially in a country that it allows the country to give you a little bit of poison. You want to do something about it. If you're not going to become educated, you got to do something about it. I don't care what you do. I honestly don't. But you have time, not only as a Latino, I'm talking about to everyone that's in this mess. You have time to turn the tide to your favor. I get it. We want to save the collective, but we know that numbers don't lie, and the majority of the collective will be in this mess. Save yourself. Save yourself and your family. And again, like I said, it's time to prioritize the boys' education. It's time to prioritize those. And for the ones that are educated and hold a degree and are doing the job and are killing it out there, because it's very rare that we found those I am so proud of you. I am so proud of what you're doing. Keep doing it. It's very rare. Those are a treasure nowadays. It's very rare that you're going to find people that have the ambition to do this. Even if you did not finish your degree, if you are the first person in your family, like Jose said, to go to college, finish later, but I am proud of you. Keep doing it. Plan to finish it sooner rather than later. Thing that Jose says, I'm a college grad and a homeowner. Exactly. I am proud of you, Jose. It's time for people to do these things. And if you don't want to do it, fine. Be like Julio. Be like Julio. And like I said, these are the people that when we talk about our beloved slow taps, these are the people that we talk about. The people that resist these concepts and that unfortunately we're gonna see eat dirt during the new recession that's coming. It's coming. You can argue with me, but it's coming. So, guys, like I said, don't become a broke zombie or a recession zombie. Make sure your family has a home. Make sure that your kids have a future. Prioritize these things. Teach your kids how to dream in something that's tangible. See that Ramon says, I'm working on my plan B. I'll hold out here as long as I can. Absolutely. Just pass on the baton into something that you couldn't do. We're supposed to uplift the younger generation to something we couldn't do. Yeah, I couldn't make it into college, but you're going to. Because we tend to always say, oh, I came here to give my children opportunities. The opportunities that we have here is college. It's a better job. That's the opportunities we have here. Take those advantages and make it work. That's just how it is. And if you're not going to do that, then just go back to Latin America. That's literally how it is, guys. And now, before I leave today, right, I said I have a very special announcement. And guys, I hope you have enjoyed today's topic. Now, next Sunday, we're going to be live at 11 a.m. because I'm not going to be available at 5 p.m. But the next topic for next Sunday is called Relax Gringo. I am legal. If you want to know what that's about, make sure that you tune in next Sunday. Now, before I leave, the big announcement is like, guys, you guys know that I've been talking for a while about me possibly doing a crossover to Spanish for many reasons. I think Latin people in Latin America deserve to hear the same information but in Spanish. So for the folks that don't know, in the infamous 9/11/2022, Latin Splaining en Español is going to be launching. It's going to be right before Latin Splaining here in English for the folks that, can benefit from the English translation. So every Sunday at 3 p.m. Pacific time, Latin Splaining en Español will air. Also, every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific time, Latin Splaining en Español will air. So for the people that love to hear things in Spanish, for people that like to connect with the Spanish language that we can't speak too much out here unless you're in Miami and you're lucky. And for the people that just don't want to speak Spanish don't want to speak English and are tired of this, and also the people in back in our homes that want to keep in touch with us, make sure you tune in. I'm going to put the link to Latin Splaining en Español on the description below, the description box below. once I finish this stream so that you guys can go and subscribe if you have not done so. So, like I said, guys, that was the big announcement. I'm going to continue to announce it. It's going to be, like I said, 9/11/2022. Latin Explaining en Español se acerca a tu computadora en un device near you. So guys, like I said, Daniel Valencia said, silly gringos, Denise, PR, complete slow tips, just flap their jaws and don't even know. Yeah, I mean, come on. So again, guys, that was all for today. Uh, Again, for the people that watch this live, thank you very much for allowing me into your home, your devices, as usual. I enjoy being back. I'm going to put the link on the chat for the people that want to come backstage. I'm going to be there for a brief time, so if you want to talk to me for a little bit, uh, click the link. But guys, it has been a pleasure. I had a lot to say. This season 2 is almost done. And you guys know that before my mom's situation, I had to leave and I couldn't finish season 2 because, of course, I'm dealing with that situation. But I am back and I'm better than ever, stronger than ever, and our shows are going to be funnier than ever. So guys, thank you very much for tuning in. It has been a pleasure. I'm going to be back here Wednesday. Make sure you tune in because this Wednesday we're going to talk about so many different things and you're going to laugh a lot. And remember, like Julio, okay? Don't be like Julio. With that being said, guys, it has been a pleasure. See you guys on the next one on Wednesday at 5 p.m. PDT. This has been another episode of Latin Explaining with Denise. Bye.